All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Hello, worlds, and welcome to another Nation Wars stream. This time it will be the USA versus Brazil. In the bottom of the screen, you can see a few other games that have been planned and are upcoming. It's gonna be Netherlands and Germany this Friday. We have France and Slovakia tomorrow at 8:30. And we have China and Czechia also tomorrow, a little bit later at 9. Let's have a look at our players for today. On the American side, we have Swamp Turtle, Is the Brick, Hold My Weed, Johnny Norris, Swift Razor, and Mozea. On the Brazilian team, we have Baduzo Aquati, Gutaigast, and Archer SPK. I'm kind of running quickly through this because it seems that the final guy has finally arrived on the Brazilian team, and we can switch over to the actual lobby. Just as a side remark, I didn't get the names from the in-game names from the Brazilian team, so I haven't mentioned the OS. Yeah, we can't really prepare if we don't have the actual OS, right? So let's dive right into it. Alright, here we go. The United States of America versus Brazil. We have Hold My Wheat taking up a really offensive position right in the corner. He will be facing a Gutai cast right next. This will be an interesting opener. And for the rest we have a completely mirrored positioning, initial positioning. Blue player and red player are nicely mirrored. Same side, same story on the north side as the south side. There is some pinging going on the red team. They are trying to see maybe it would be better to take the eco spot instead of facing Hold My Wheat right here. So the Brazilians are gonna take a bit more of a defensive stance while Hold My Wheat is still right on the edge of the map. "44 seconds to go in this highly anticipated game. There were a little bit of issues with the Brazilian team miscommunicating or like miscalculating the time zone difference, and they are an hour late. My apologies for keeping you guys waiting, but yeah, it is what it is. Maybe in that part of the world time flies a little bit chiller, you know? Brazil, it sounds like such a nice country to be. Nice and hot. Nice festivals over there. And of course, the USA, also a very nice continent or country to be in. But that being said, let's just get into the game as it is starting right now. Hold My Wheat holding his position in the front. He will have an easy time capping this, but maybe in the back, the eco sides. It's gonna be interesting. I think the Brazilians will probably take on a bit of an eco surplus in the beginning, but maybe Hold My Wheat can capitalize on the advance in the beginning and maybe cap a side before the Brazilian team can. We'll see how it goes. Let's look at the composition. Mozia is on Cortex. This is an Armada player. Swamp Turtle. Cortex is the brick, and Hold My Wheat is also No, he's Armada in the front. No, Cortex. Sorry, it's late for me, guys. Cortex on the Brazilian side. Here's an Armada player. Eco backliner is Armada. Interesting, interesting. Swamp Turtle moving in the first scout units. And Hold My Wheat being even more aggressive and climbing the second hill of today. He's gonna bear down on the base of Padusu. Let's see if the Brazilian is ready for that. Baduzo hasn't gotten the radar up yet, so I don't think he will be able to spot these units just as yet. Blue players playing nicely out of the range. Also, green not being picked up by anybody. They can roam freely to the back line and possibly intercept these construction units. Looks like they are going for the scout or the eco disruptions here in the back. These will catch one lonely constructor unit. Ticks on the mountain are staying where they are. Ticks are running right by the constructor units. Looking if he can do some damage on Gutai cast. Interesting tactic from Gutai cast. Healing his mechs, avoiding it to go down, and he avoids any damage done. Nicely done. I wonder if we're gonna have such an interesting start like in the previous games from France and Poland, which was an incredibly hectic and up and back forward going game. It's already starting to heat up here on the side. Quite a big of an army here, bearing down on the yellow player. Aquati is trying to macro and keeping those brutes at bay. Oh, those grunts, excuse me. Oh, get the LT. Do they get, yeah, they get the construction units. Painful for Aquati. On the other side is the brick is also being quite aggressive, but Archer SPK is marching forward. Already 5 armies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. 5 armies in the middle of the map. All trying to be the king of the hill here. King of the ridge. It is a pawn battle, boys. It is a pawn versus grunt battle in the beginning. Both teams trying to sneak on through with a little bit more of aggression on the USA side. We seem to have missed. That's unfortunate. We seem to have missed Hold My Wheat bearing in on Badazo. Both commanders have been lost and been eaten by the Brazilians. That should give them quite a bit of a medal advantage. We got rocket butts going out. We got a few ducks trying to shoot back. Archer SPK beautifully managing and healing his units now, but he does lose one. Ooh. That is a deep penetration on the yellow player. He needs to get some backup from his teammates to not get too much damage done. He didn't lose a lap, which is fortunate, so he should be able to bounce back from this, but he is being pressurized by Mozia. Orange now being the aggressive on the other side and invading the territory of the USA. Red team helping out his teammates with Is the Brick, or will he just walk on by? Nope, he will engage. He gets a mix and retreats a little bit. Gives the tugs a bit of a reading room, but yeah, there's more tugs here and more units still on Is the Brick. But those tugs can easily just walk over the mountain and try to find maybe a few weak spots in there. We got some dragon claws up. That electricity will make it impossible for the bots to pass into the green position. Hold My Wheat is heavily fortified here, but he does have a little bit of an E problem going on. A red team is making a run for it to the back line. They should know that Hold My Wheat started really aggressive, so they probably know there's not much going on here on the eco spot. And there is only one LLT, or two LLTs, but yeah, maybe this one is blocked by the lab, so if they can get that one, they might have an angle on the lab, but still are preferring to go to the back line. And climbing again on the mountain would be maybe better to go around or faster. More mixes as well. This lonely constructor unit could be starting to build an LT to stop, at least save these mexes, but nope, he gets free reign in American territory. There's a response going on now from blue, trying to protect his backline here. But red is just bearing down on two more free mixes. We even got a bombing run going on now from the Brazilian side. There is no air force on the USA. This will hurt. There is no anti-air as well. And he connects nicely, taking out the entire E production almost from Is the Brick. Will he go back and go finish the lab? Yes, he will. Ooh, close but no cigar. 7%, but they are coming back for it. And that is the kill for the lab. Huge and a big problem for Is the Brick right now, who has already been pushed back here. Are a few anti-air units now coming out to try to defend, but will they be in time? Oh, that's the E production from Swamp Turtle gone. And aiming for the BP. BP's also gone. Holy hell, very nice bombing run from Good Eye Cast. And they are still roaming free. There's 3 left, bearing down on Mozia's base. Those bombers, covered with a few fighters, have pretty much crippled the American economy. More bombers coming out. Swamp Turtle with a risky move, trying to get his commander. Oh, he's going for a bomber run, but he will be met by a bit of an issue here. Uh-oh, Swamp Turtle. Okay. Oh, there's just scouts. Still, Swamp Turtle is not taking any risks and getting back on land. Bombers still reigning free over American soil. This is not looking good for the USA. I have no economy left, as you can see. I have a big ass advantage on the red team, economy wise. They are already on. Oh, they are wrecking everything. They have now penetrated the front line as well. And there is one commander left, which is actually big. I didn't know, but only Outcast on the Brazilian team is left. Swamp Turtle going for a bomb. A com bomb. Excuse my language, boys. It's late for me. 2:30 in the morning here. Nope, he won't get that. Nope, unsuccessful commander penetration on the Brazilian side. And there's only as the brick left, the GG is being called. Is the brick still gonna try something with his last commander? The entire Brazilian army is spreading out nicely over the Brazilian territory, the USA territory. But is the brick? It's kind of sneaking on the side, trying to get some damage done. If he can find this commander, it would be big, but he's faced with some. Oh, managed to land it just in the nick of time. Marching on onwards to Arch's SPK base. Nice move, but a little too late, I believe. And there he goes, last commander down. Brazil wins in less than 14 minutes. Impressive. Impressive. Yes, USA will have to do a lot better, I think, in the next game if they wanna get back into this fight. And unfortunate that the tactic from Hold My Wheat in the beginning did not work out. Yeah. Here he is. Ripperoni. Alright, on to the next one. Which will be Omega Valley. A bit of a weird vote going on, but okay. Archer asking for a little break to grab some water. Oh, Volshock, sorry, I missed your message. Let's Let's go this Discord. I'm on the Nation War Discord. Boom, 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 boom. I'm in the players channel. Hello, Volshok. Good evening.
Whoa, what's going on?
All good, all good. There's an unexpected loss for the USA going on. Brazil is leading 1-0.
I mean, I don't know if it's too expected, but yeah, like a lot of those Brazilian guys are super old school players. So although their OS might not be that high, you have to remember like people like Badosu are kind of like founding members of Bar, and they have a ton of small teams experience that they can lean back on.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep. So it's exciting. Yeah, I think that first game was definitely interesting. Kolmogorov is such a weird map, to be honest. I feel
Mhm.
like it plays out incredibly strange, and a lot of it is decided by just a few random leaks.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to see sort of how Omega Valley is going to play for both these teams. But I've seen a lot of weird games on Omega Valley. I've seen a lot of good games on Omega Valley. So I guess we're gonna find out which one is which.
Yep. Map is launching, so it will be interesting for sure. We've seen in previous games from France that they were rushing to the mids to capture those high-valued mixes. But actually, the Poles did a really nice counter tactic. We're kind of expecting France to capture the middle, and we're like surrounding the middle center player and capping the top mountain and the bottom mountain. It's a really interesting way and turned out well for them.
Yeah, so I watched that game. It was interesting. We saw Tenebos essentially just fly straight in. I think it actually is a better plan to do as long as you pork it correctly. You know, it's one of those things where when you have a few nanos and just a bunch of claws down, it becomes so hard to dislodge someone from that position. And in scrims that I've played and watched for this, you know, a lot of teams end up you just rush mid and you just drop a T2 lab as soon as possible. Because when you up all those mexes, like they're 6.5s or whatever. So when you get them all, it's like 100 metal a second. And then you know you can just pump whatever you want from middle. So I think there's definitely kind of the two strategies where you're going to try to take high ground on both sides. You're going to sort of be late to mid, but I've seen a lot of people win with just a straight mid push where they take it, they hold it, they pork, and then it's a fast T2 into whatever they want to make to end it.
Yep, yep, that's what the French were doing. I think Terebos just had a little bit of issues and not getting that much support from his teammates. The green player here on top was focusing on recapturing the top mountain and not really giving him support on the side. And also the Poles on the south side were pushing the player that was here on the bottom very hardly. So they couldn't really support the middle guy. They had him cut off.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, these are incredibly close spawn positions, so I'm kind of interested to see how it plays out. And I've seen a few co-op labs like Jazz and Sheep. When I've seen them do this, they'll do like a co-op lab, good god, on one side and then just rush the comm to middle. But let's see kind of how it plays out.
Yep. Doesn't look like they're gonna do this today. And just walking their comm forward now. With only one mix. A little bit of E from Badozu. Is the brick is taking the charge as well? The American... Well, they're pretty much mirrored still right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. From the labs we've seen dropped from US2, they're both going to go core vehicles, which is pretty scary in those chokes, right? You've got like the Pounder Wolverine to just like hold those chokes and slowly push through them. But like Gutai is going to go bots, and it looks like Badosu is going to go bots. So I think this is going to be one of those things where are the rocket bots going to have enough momentum to push through and break before you just get crushed by like Pounder Wolverine? Because even though the rocket bots can kind of abuse those narrow values, there's a point where there's just too many Pounders and too many Wolverines for you to really contest it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's definitely an interesting kind of timing difference here, and just a lab choice difference.
Yep, and especially if there's some wrecks on the field, those units will have a really, especially vehicles, will have a lot of problems navigating the fields. A problem I run in often in my games. But that's maybe because I get I get too greedy and I don't include res bots. It's maybe just a skill issue.
That's how it goes. Yeah. So US2 just triple VLAB, and they're gonna boost their middle VLAB, and then Brazil did triple bot lab and then one VLAB. So I'm kind of curious how this plays out. I feel like the co-op mid is probably the better play because there's no reason to spend that initial starting metal on two labs. You might as well just put it into one and then boost it. But they didn't take as many mexes as I thought they would, so they're a little behind in metal production, which I'm concerned could end up biting them
Mm-hmm.
later on.
You have first few shots fired on the south side. Poor Grunt will bite the dust. There we go. Crop rotation using. Oh no, he stopped. And turning back. I was expecting him to go for a bit more kills, but he's being conservative at the moment.
And is Betabrick has that safety LLT, which is going to shut down that rascal harass. So actually, great foresight from him.
Yep.
So Swamp Turtle's going to open in Sizer, and we see quite a few light tanks coming out now for US2. I wonder when they're going to decide to transition into like Pounder Wolverine, right? Because in these narrow chokes, those rocket bots, because they can't get surrounded that easily, they're actually going to be really strong. So it's going to be interesting when that transition happens.
Mm-hmm.
But we got the battle for mid starting now, so kind of exciting.
Yep. Brick is taking the lead, has the first max down, but already a few rocket shots on that max, and he loses it. Probably should have focused on a bit more pork. He does have a beamer up. And using some artillery to keep the rocket bots at bay. And Whistler's coming out now as well.
I think he might be overcommitting on shell shockers, but we'll see. Oh, he's swapping off now. I feel like shell shockers are one of those things where you just can't really mass them because they're so ineffective versus units. Even if they land, they don't have kind of the full pack and the full damage of Wolverines. But Dosu got some good D guns and is kind of pushing bot off.
Yep, Whistlers are effective at keeping those rocket bots at bay. The grunts are getting shut down as well. Is the brick still relying on beamers to make his advance? It seems to be working out for him.
Yeah, there's not a large enough rocket bot where they can just one salvo alpha the beamers yet, so I think it's gonna be good. I thought there'd be way more rocket bots out sooner, just because when you reach that early critical mass, you just walk up, they all shoot once, and there's nothing the other player can do. But it looks like Bedbrick, I'm just gonna call him Brick, got set up before, so that's awesome.
Yep.
Fortunately, Badosu is kind of pushing crop rotation Jimmy back on bottom. He's just thug walking with his commander. So, and Jimmy might lose his comm.
He needs to dodge those bullets. That was close, 12%.
Yeah, that was a little terrifying.
He's still getting chased, eating a few more shots.
Bye
bye, crop. Oh. And but those who can move in fast to get
Yeah,
that precious metal, yeah. Not
he's
see
gonna get
any.
all. I think Jimmy might need to swap out of Lashers. He's gonna go Lasher Wolverine, but I think he might need a couple pounders. It's one of the issues though with core T1 vehicles is you don't have something like a Janus that is an immediate threat to commanders. You kind of have to chip them down, or you have to do like edge shots with pounders, and it's a lot harder. Whereas the arm vehicle, just immediate Janus threat to comms is there. So he's gonna get another commander. He's gonna steal Hold My Weeds commander and then start heading down to try to stop Badosu.
Yeah. If you say Jimmy, who do you mean?
Oh, sorry. Crop rotation is Jimmy.
Ah, okay.
I'm a little concerned about the US energy scaling though. They're going to get this geo up soon, but it feels like they've just been behind in terms of E scale the entire time. And on a map like this, especially when you get that big metal influx, I think it's one of those things where if you don't balance your E economy soon enough, it becomes a huge problem, because it's like you have all this metal and then you end up just burning it on basic solars because you can't make anything else. So hopefully they can kind of equalize it out.
Yep. We have some sharing going on, just as you mentioned that.
Yeah, he's trying to do it. Yeah, and Izabrick right now, he's in this situation. He's like, wait, he's just dropping basic solars in mid.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have no energy. 135 energy production, but he's got 1k metal just floating.
Yep. Swamp Turtle and BDI Quati getting inside of each other's faces right now.
Yeah, he's getting some juicy D-guns. There's no lab swaps right now, right? We have no air swap, we have no T2, so right now this is just a T1 brawl, winner takes all in mid, but it looks like Izabrick with his HLT, with his nanos, and with his beamers is holding that, and I think once the reclaim's done, we're going to start to see a pretty big metal swing, but the US team needs to take their backline mexes. I don't know why they haven't. Like, they should have just had a con taking all of those.
Yeah.
So they need to get it at some point here.
Yeah, Brazil has done a better job on that. Have all their mixes in the back line. Already working on a Geo as well.
Yeah, and Swamp Turtle had a beautiful snipe on that comm. So he gets Aquati's comm and takes it down. And Aquati doesn't really have anything to fight this off yet. He was E-stalling. Like, if you look at Aquati right now, he's like completely E-stall, dropping B-solars just to try to like have the energy to make units. But Swamp Turtle's going to get all this metal, and even though their team's kind of full on metal, I mean, it's never a bad thing to just stockpile more. Oh, and Jimmy takes Badosu down on bot. Uh-oh. That is a little scary, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, tactical pause coming in.
Tactic, what's going on here? Oh, Swamp Turtle.
Yeah, Swamp Turtle is lagging behind. And also E-stalling.
Yeah, if you look at everyone, they've got some serious energy problems, which is kind of prototypical on this map, which is, I think these guys have played it before, so I'm kind of confused that they didn't better prioritize geos. Sometimes when you see like a min wind, a min 3 wind with a 12 max, you're like, oh, this is pretty good wind, but it's really not. I mean, average wind is 9, and in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty low. Yep. So I feel like they probably should have done an A-solar swap, or at least tried to get that geo sooner. But at the end of the day, you can just mass build B-solars and then make units with your surplus of metal and come out on top.
Yeah.
So
the only
guy has. Go ahead.
Sorry, the only guy who is a little bit rich on everything is crop rotation on the bottom. Swamp Turtle has stabilized his E now.
Yeah, and Hold My Weed is T2. We're about to see a bull come charging out, and that's a little scary because there's no T2 out yet for Team Brazil, so this bull should be able to just kind of have a field day picking apart all the T1.
Yep. Here he goes. Also an artillery Mauser coming up as well. That's gonna be an issue for the T1 guys on the Brazilian side.
Yeah, I think that if you get a jammer, I think if they get a jammer behind, they can probably, just protect it with their commander and D guns. But with the location of his base, it's going to be hard because I think he can just walk up and start shooting, right? He has previous vision of it, so he doesn't need too much.
Yep, and Mars is raining down hell and destruction on Archer's Spark. Archer SPK base now.
Oh my god. Crop rotation has decided to just go full pounder. He's got like 12 pounders and they're just advancing in a line. And yeah, Archer is going to try to contest these Mausers and these Bulls, but it's just impossibly hard for him to fight into it. And this is going to secure mid for Team USA2.
Yep. And Archer has to be careful right now because those Mausers hurt.
Well, that was a brutal converter explosion too.
Yep, 71%. 58%, yeah, he has to retreat. Ooh, he's not retreating yet, 43%. He's getting close to a red bar on his commander now.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of these guys have E-storage either, right? So it's not like he can reliably cloak and run in. 1300 reserve energy is basically 1.3 seconds of cloak if you're moving, so he's not going to be able to actually execute it, which just makes it incredibly difficult for them to hold this back. This is feeling like Team USA2 just has kind of an insurmountable lead, especially once T2 cons get out and start upgrading mid-mexes. Wait, why is Hold My Weed upgrading a 1.2 mex instead of the 6.5 mexes in mid? What is happening here?
USA feeling comfortable, I think. Crop rotation bearing down on Badozu now with his pounder army.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is awesome. Swap Turtle is pushing top. Brick has broken mid and is starting to do that, and then crop rotation on bottom. Jimmy is pushing there as well. So Team Brazil is definitely backed up into a corner. They're going to need to either have some really nice comm bombs or somehow control a wreck field to get enough metal to do it. But the other problem is, even though they've air switched now, they just don't have T2. So in addition to losing the mexes mid, they're just going to get outscaled incredibly quickly.
Oh, the bottom here, they have a problem. Good Cast managed to get a comm bomb in, and he's wrecking the backline of the USA right now.
It seems nice, but I don't really know how meaningful it's going to be, because all their eco's really in mid, right? And they need to be a little careful because they only have 2 commanders. So when Gutai gets caught and killed, they're going to be on a sole commander, and I feel like Team USA might be able to just push and punish. But let's see. Yeah, Jimmy got a Tsar out, so this is going to be an adventure if this Tsar can fight the comm.
Oh, right
One
in his
shot,
face.
quarter of his health, yeah. And he got a radar bot out too, so even if this lab gets degunned, he'll probably be okay because he'll still have the vision for it. So this, I think he loses the lab, but which is a great trade for Gukast in a sense, but I mean, he's still going to be, this is the last comm now, right? Once this goes down.
He is dodging those shots, but that's the last one.
He was trying. He did a great job
Yeah.
dodging, and I mean, he killed all that base, right? Jimmy doesn't have that much left over, but he still has the Tsar. He got the flak out, and he has the radar. So once that Tsar gets to front, it's kind of going to be lights out for them. But Badosu saw that, and he has his T2 core V-Lab coming down now.
Yeah. Let's see what the unit selection will be. Tigers.
Badosu trying to stall for time with some pop-ups just in this bot lane here. The problem is, once the Tsar gets there, they're not going to survive, right? Even if you have nanos behind him, they just aren't going to be able to out-heal the burst of the Tsar. And Swamp Turtle is still just pushing yellow and pushing Aquatian top.
Yeah. It's not looking good for Brazil.
No,
But
nope,
it's
they're still trying.
but it's good for the sake of the competition. They would equalize on 1-1, so we would get a third game, which is also nice.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. He had an air lab, a core air lab, but he didn't drop a round of Shuris before swapping out. I mean, even though there are like lashers and whistlers on the field, I still feel like it's great to have kind of that backup round of Shuris for when raids or something else happen, because they can equalize and you can kind of take like a big medal donation. But he ended up just doing it for his commander and then swapping back. Archer needs to be really careful, though. I mean, they're going to see that he's last calm, and as soon as they see that, I feel like they should just, they can kind of just ignore top and just dive bottom and kill him.
Yeah.
That's the game if he's not careful.
Yep, and this Tsar is going for the second kill? No, he's going for the lab first. Yeah, Tsar just freely wrecking their base. And they call it. GG.
Yeah, I mean, I think they knew that it was once they lost mid and they had the T2 disadvantage. I mean, they had
hopeless,
they had those mid mexes and it's brutal. Yeah, those just the 3 mid mexes is 78 energy a second, which is pretty absurd, or 78 metal a second, which is honestly just absurd.
Yeah, USA could have done better with their economy, but still managing to push out Brazil. With all those mixes not being claimed for a big old while, it looked like Brazil was getting back into the fight, but no. The Brig did a really good job in the middle there, porking up and defending their 6.5 mixes. Nice game, nicely done from the USA.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that it equalized and it went to game 3. I think that's what everyone wants to see. It just is a lot more fun, a lot more competitive. That's one of those things. I think that it would have been a lot cleaner for both teams if they had just had slightly better e-scaling. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens in game 3. It's pretty exciting.
Boulder Beach. A little bit of naval action going on. Nice.
This is one of those polarizing maps where people either love it or they hate it, and there's kind of no middle ground.
I personally hate it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of there's definitely a lot of kind of interesting balance in it as well. With these, like I've seen, especially for scrims for this, right? You see like double naval starts, you see triple naval starts with 1 air, you see, 1 naval, 1 land that transitions into air, and then the other 2 players like co-op a lab mid, co-op a naval lab mid. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where that early naval balance is kind of rough, because a lot of times those lanes are decided by like who has better sub micro or who gets luckier with their sub, and then that kind of dictates the entire control of the lane. So I'm curious what both teams decide to do, like if they've really practiced it or how they feel about it, if they're comfortable or not. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see start positions and we'll see kind of lab placements.
A little move there from America trying to get in a sub, but it's not going now. We subbing last player in, but he has to update, so they're just gonna go with this team apparently.
Yep. All right. Oh, where are they? We're at 4 out of 5. I don't know who they would sub though. I can't remember the rest of their.
Swift Razor and Jimmy Norris, I think. Oh, okay. Yeah. Swamp Turtle is the Brick, Hold My Wheat, Jimmy Norris, the Swift Razor, and Mozia is the roster for the USA. In the French game versus Poland, we saw Poland actually capping the entire sea mostly facilitated on the south. North
It's a little
held out
intense.
the longest, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. What was interesting to see also that the moment they lost naval, they completely went all into salamanders and went to the back of the Poland army and completely wrecked everything there. Well, at least 2 bases down, but still, they had enough units to just finish the job, the Poles.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't actually get to catch that game. I was at work, so I'm excited to see this. Curious. So I think Archer and Aquati are going to do a co-op lab, and then one of them will spam wind for whoever is actually dropping the naval lab. And then Crop Rotation and Brick are both starting on the island, so they can actually drop wind, just because Tidal is absolute trash on this map. So it's going to be a little interesting, right? Because it's technically a 2v2 in naval, but only Crop Rotation and Badosu are a real like 1v1 lane. That top lane, Brick is going to get 1v2'd whether he realizes it or not. And I think that's one of the dangers of resource pooling is like, you're like, oh, I'm fighting one color, but then you're like, wait, why does he have so many more ships than me? Oh, he's getting pooled. And I think if he doesn't realize that right away, definite concern. The flip side of that, though, is that if Swamp Turtle can sneak ground units through that, narrow, shallow choke, before they can control the sea, then he can just shred everything, right? Archer probably won't be able to or want to drop a ground lab, so it's going to be interesting. Oh, wait, Crop Rotation. Oh, no, never mind. Looked like he swapped up and then he swapped back down.
Trying to confuse us. Here we go! Cortex, probably Cortex all around. Yep. The entire USA is Cortex. Brazil, Cortex. Oh, one Armada player on the Brazilian side. Gutaikast is probably gonna eco and take advantage of the Armada winds facilities.
Oh no, Jimmy, why are we building Tidal? Oh no. Okay. Oh, that's weird. Aquati is actually going to go Arm Navy, and Archer is going to go Core Ground, which I think is going to be a little rough. I mean, there are some lanes where you can really abuse kind of dolphins, like on straight where it's open, you can really get surrounds. Dolphins are a little scary. But on these like more narrow chokes, I feel like orcas and, just the advantage that core frigates have, it's going to be really hard for Aquati to actually fight Izabrick.
Yep.
Isbedabrick. Isbedabrick. That name is impossibly hard for me to say.
Yeah, I've been struggling as well with some of the names. It's actually alright this time. But the French team, damn.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Alright, is the Brick already going out with the first frigates? He's obviously getting boosted.
Oh, and he swaps back and starts making wind. This is awesome. So we're going to have Dolphin versus Frigate, and it looks like Crop Rotation's first. Frigate is coming out. Badosu a little greedy. He's going to open Conship first. So he's going to have to either drop a jellyfish or get really lucky with his comm. Because otherwise, this frigate could deal a ton of damage as long as Jimmy doesn't get degunned.
And those precious windmills are a juicy target for that frigate. Frigate trying to stay out of the the degun range. Getting some
this is a little brutal, I'm not gonna lie, but Badosu realizes what needs to happen and he just starts making a sub, and Jimmy didn't go destroyer, so he's gonna open double frigate, and I think it's a little dangerous because he's gonna have no way to actually counter this sub. I'm not sure if he realizes that. He should see the sub building though.
Oh, he's attacking the lab now. Oh, focuses. He's still
at the same time, Brick is doing the same thing. He's up here and he's bullying Aquati just with a single frigate.
I think he's too deep in the water for a D-gun.
Yep, he is, unfortunately. Rick is going to recognize what he needs to do, and he's going to drop an Orca, and Badosu's going to drop an Orca as well, but Badosu's energy economy kind of got thrashed, so Jimmy's going to be able to pull ahead a bit in terms of resources once he caps a few more things.
Aquati finally gets the frigate off his back. And Badosu indeedly using his sub to scare off the frigate on the side. But yeah, it did open up a possibility for Isabrik to advance. He has capped the middle island on the top and is eyeing the next island, I do believe.
Yeah, I mean, he can slowly push in. If he can just control this, it's kind of scary, right? Because Archer is not going to be able to do anything once frigates start fighting ground units. But Jimmy still doesn't have a sub out. I'm a little confused what he thinks is going to happen, because right now Badosa is just going to come in and kill his entire base.
Or just leave the sub
Or
hanging. And wait for the harpoon to finish. That's unfortunate. Ah, now he's moving.
Yeah, but this sub isn't going to finish, right? I mean, Badosa just kills his entire base now.
Nope. That's gonna be a bit opportunistic, I think. That sub can just turn around and waste this, but 18 seconds should be enough to get... Holy hell, the damage on that thing. Bye bye lab.
Yeah, Orca's hurt, and so basically Badosa just completely recovered any advantage that, you know, Jimmy previously had. Jimmy just made the cardinal rule of, you know, no anti-sub early, which is why you see a lot of people, you know, they just open sub first just because it's super valuable to do. Unfortunately now Badosu completely gained control of this, so I don't know if Jimmy's going to be able to get enough units out before this becomes a problem. He really needs to try to keep this Riptide alive.
Yep. Outnumbered though. 2 frigates and a little support ship.
But Brick has his first destroyer out, so this is going to be kind of an issue for Aquati, who's still building frigates. We'll see. Oh, he almost has, yeah. So he's got a frigate, a sub, and then a destroyer. So he definitely has great control here. He should be able to just kind of trap Aquati on this side and then hopefully cap the rest of those mexes and then just ride out an eco advantage.
Beautiful mix of units there.
And Jimmy's getting pressured again right here. It's 3v2. He might lose a second lab, and if he does, it's going to be a little rough. He's repairing.
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, I think unfortunately Jimmy just lost this C.
Yeah, starting to look like it.
Come over.
The Brazilian is red for a reason, apparently. He knows his way in the water.
And Guta is trying to push Hold My Weed, but Hold My Weed just has a Dragon's Mind. He's making an HLT. I'm a little concerned that he's porking this close to shore, though, because as soon as Jimmy loses water, Badosu can just make destroyers, and there's literally nothing that Hold My Weed can do, just because ground 1 is useless against, you know, like T1 ground is useless against T1 Navy.
Yeah, good diecast still going for it. And with maces, manages to get one flamethrower down, but
Swamp Turtle with the Shuri transition, and he definitely locks down a lot of the maces in mid, which is nice, but a bunch of them got shot, unfortunately. Oh, and Brick gets Aquati's comm. Oh no.
And Swamp Turtle moving in for the kill.
Let's go, Swamp. Let's go, Swamp. Where the D-guns at?
Boom.
Oh, he gets it right before it finishes, too. Oh, no. Brazil doesn't have any AA up right now. Swamp Turtle with a beautiful air transition here. Oh god. Oh, not like this. He needs an AAK bot. Wait, where's your AA bot, dude? Oh no.
He's still making ducks.
Yeah, he's just gonna calm walk it, and if he deguns the lab, I think this might just little. Yes, yeah, there it goes.
Yep. Bye bye base. Archer down. Aquati down. It's not looking good for the Brazilians.
Oh, he's gonna lose his comm though. He should have just ran up and degunned that, but 100% worth it. I mean, top is essentially totally dead, and Brick now can just transition into full destroyer, and mid is lost, right? Like, it's gonna end up with Brick probably fighting Badosu on bot, but Badosu still hasn't managed to kill off Jimmy. Jimmy is holding on for dear life somehow.
Yeah, has made a third lap.
If at first you don't succeed, build 3 naval labs.
Yeah, and he's actually having the upper hand now with 4 frigates.
Yeah, wait, why is Badosu running his destroyer in? Oh, that's a little APM stall. No, Badosu, not like this.
And his head is out of the water and he's getting bombarded by the frigates. Oh, but Badosu was so far ahead.
Is he gonna try to comp bomb this? What's he doing?
Yeah,
I think he is.
So.
Oh, if he deguns this lab, I might. Oh no, the 4th lab goes down. Oh, wait, does Jimmy have a con ship? He doesn't. That's actually a little scary. Swamp Turtle needs to give him an air con right away so that he can actually reclaim this. There's so much metal here that needs to get taken.
Yeah, he needs to make a 4th naval lab.
But first you don't succeed, build the 4th naval lab and see what happens.
Yeah.
Gutai taken mid though, and he can actually calm off Swamp Turtle's base.
He has sent the constructor in to make the 4th lab.
Badosu's gonna break out his ship to try to take it, but I think Swamp Turtle's Swamp Turtle's Shuri should be able to just hold this. I think he can just protect like at least the comm wreckage from the ship, because he should be able to just run up and Shuri it. Yeah, and now Brick is starting to flex down. He's like, oh, you've got units here? Let me start fighting you. Archer did a naval swap, though, which is a little interesting. I think he just recognized that, oh, Swamp Turtle didn't go ground, and he's porked that, so why would I stay ground? Let me just do my own naval switch.
Yeah, probably a good tactic.
Unfortunately, Swamp is collecting quite a few bombers, and there's almost no AA anywhere on this map for Brazil.
Yep. He's up to 4 bombers already.
And Hold My Weed is very slowly back capping all these mexes as T2, but these Sheldons are going to be able to clear out a lot on this side, and Gutai's T2 lab is about half finished, so there's a pretty substantial tech advantage here, and it's starting to get reflected, especially in energy income, and metal's probably soon going to follow.
Yep. And bombers going in now. They do have vision, I do believe. Hold My Weed. It has some units there.
It's kind of funny, but Badosu's herring is just slowly trying to keep Jimmy's frigate away from it, but only 4 bombers. Oh, he's got more coming. Okay. I feel like AA goes down soon enough, though. Can he overkill this lab?
And Jimmy has finished his 4th lap and is pushing out the frigate again.
So he's gonna get the BP, which is huge, and he got most of his energy. So yeah, he's at 141E, so honestly I think those bombers are 100% worth it. It'd be nice if he could have overkilled the lab, but the fact that he essentially just disabled his energy means that T2 is kind of worthless unless his team can boost him. And he's coming back in to try to kill the lab. I don't know if that's really worth it. I think he accomplished what he needed to.
Yeah, and there's 2.
Hold My Weed did a duck transition. He's going for Badosu's base. That's scary. Jimmy is losing his base. He's about to lose his 4th naval lab, but I think that Swamp and Hold My Weed are going to be able to kill Bedosu's base.
Interesting going back and forth now.
Yeah, it is. This bot lane has kind of been a roller coaster of emotions, but I think it might be time for Jimmy to realize that the 4th lab was enough. Maybe don't build a 5th. There's a ton of reclaim there. I mean, if Bedosu can secure this, he's got a con going for it now. That's a lot of metal.
A hell of a lot of metal.
And Archer had this massive fleet. Izabrick decided to transition into Salas, and he wasn't ready for Archer's massive naval push. So this is a little scary. It's starting to swing back in favor of the Brazilians. Like, if you're a US fan, you kind of have to wonder, you know, are they actually gonna be able to recover this? I think the one saving grace is that Hold My Weed is pushing through the ground, and so he can probably kill most of what's on land here. But then they're going to run into the issue of they don't control the sea, so it's kind of battle of attrition. Let's see who comes out on top.
Yeah. And there's a brick getting pushed back hard now.
Yeah, there's
losing
another
his
lab.
Losing his
That's the
entire base.
6th of the 7th lab that died for Team USA2. They are unlucky. Man, Hold My Weed needs to be really careful though. His T2 lab is in range of destroyers, and that's not going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, his entire pork and most of his production capabilities are right next to the water.
Oh man, he got a fiend in on bottom though, and it just killed like 10 windmills and a mechs. And he's just flexing up with more Sheldons, the radar, and the jammer, and they are killing all of Brazil's backline. And Swamp Turtle decided to do the same. He ate his air lab, and he's going to transition into, or he already transitioned into T2 core. So we're going to see more Sheldons to try to chip away at this. And fiends, I guess, to try to just run through.
Interesting chats going on there.
Yes, if you ever played with Zhao, every game you'd have to pause for like 10 seconds at the start for his computer to load everything.
Incredible how he can play so well on a potato PC.
Yeah. So Hold My Weed is trying to run fiends up to kill this ship lab. The problem is, I feel like Team Brazil, all their E-production is dead, and so even though they're, you know, they have a ton of metal, they're really going to struggle to actually make anything. Bedosu's trying to spam out titles right now.
I have one commander, one turret in the back. Oh Jesus, one constructor unit in the back, trying to rebuild.
Yeah, and Hold My Weed is shelling this lab from the ground above with his Sheldon. Oh, I feel like he could just pull this back and not... Sheldons outrange everything here. I'm not sure why they're so close. But Bedosu's coming in. I think he gets Hold My Weed's T2 lab, so this is... yeah, a little rough in terms of placement.
Yep, there goes the lab, unfortunately. Well, it's not such a good idea, Hold My Weed. You should have put that lab way back. But those are still pumping out some naval fleets units.
It's a little concerning because his AGO is going to be in range of everything else, and when that pops, that's kind of concerning. Destroyers can totally go up there when Bedosu sees it and, you know, just kill it.
Yep.
But Izabrick has started to take all the backline mexes of Team Brazil. He's running salamanders through, so looks like Brazil holds the sea, but America is holding most of the land.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do something about those two guys. But yeah, their E production, their metal production, completely gone. Big ass tidal farm being queued. They will have to make an amphibious lab or something to get on the land pretty soon. Is the Brick now quietly building his base on the Brazilian side?
Yeah, the Brazil's kind of back into a corner here. I feel like Archer needs to transition out of sea and build something that can actually siege the ground here.
Yeah, or Badozo? Badozo would also, he has some E production.
Oh, and they spotted that AGO. They know it's there, so Hold My Wheat is about to lose almost the entirety of his energy production, which is going to be pretty rough. Team USA is floating an insane amount of metal, too.
Yeah. Over 300% metal advantage.
This might be a situation where they need to just do some inland persecutors and start persecutor creeping.
Mm-hmm. There goes the advanced Geo. Hold My Wheat's E is at 0. He has no energy.
And Archer's scouting if there's anything else in the sea that he can, anything else from the sea onto the land that he can hit. But I mean, Brick he's built an entire base in what used to be Brazil. So he's starting to push south. And even though Gutai has some thugs, I mean, there's Salas and there's a lot of other stuff. He's got Pounders as well. So I'm pretty sure he should be able to just push through this. And once he fully secures ground, I'm not 100% sure how Brazil really recovers. Badosu's dropping his own T2 lab now so he can try to up these ground maxes. But if you just look at metal income, you know, you're looking at like 100 versus 33. It's like, that's an absolutely brutal advantage for Team USA. They should eventually be able to just throw enough metal of any unit and win, even though, you know, Brazil has completely claimed the sea.
I seem to have a bit of an invasion going on in my chat as well.
Yeah, I was just
Jesus
looking
Christ,
at
what the hell?
Oh, and Brick is starting to get his push in now. He's starting to shove out this. The Pounder and the Salamanders are ripping through these mesas. He killed the majority of the pawns, but I think between all these tanks, they're going to clean up this. And that's scary for Badosu because he's just now finishing this T2 lab, so he needs to get Fiends or something else out to try to fight this. But I don't even know if a couple Fiends are going to fight off 3 Pounders and 2 Salas. And Brick is still just pumping out units.
Yep. He has conquered half of the Brazilian territory now. It might be a good tactic though. Base. Oh, he is on land now. Badozo.
Yeah, I don't think these Fiends are going to arrive in time, though. I'm pretty sure that Brick is going to be able to cap all of this and just keep going. It's a little intense. I mean, they have, in terms of just like metal and units, you know, they've got like an APHIS worth of destroyers in sea, Team Brazil does. So if they can somehow start transitioning that into a little bit more energy and then try to transition somehow, maybe they can recover. But, you know, there's just so many land maxes that are already upped for Team USA that it's kind of concerning. Oh, and he sees the T2 lab. Oh, no. Let's see, what can we get? Can we get some good Fiend self-Ds, maybe? Nope. Oh, there's a Maw there, though. Can the Maw kill this before they kill the T2 lab? No, it doesn't look like it. Nope. I think Brick gets this. Oh, brutal. One of the hard things about this is if you don't control the land and you can't build land eco, you know, 15 title is just so metal heavy that you end up behind in metal just because you have to spend so much more to get any semblance of a decent E economy.
It takes a long while to get it back up, I think. And just a few Mausers or whatever, a little bit of artillery range will take care of the remainder of the Brazilian base on the bottom. Archer is still not being contested at the moment. They're parking their fleet.
Dosu's dropping some construction turrets near the shore here, which could signal some sort of naval invasion. Except that